The Free Spin is one of the most successful coaster models from S&S. This is a unique coaster model where the seats can flip as they navigate the layout. This results in a chaotic and unpredictable ride experience. In this video, I will provide a brief history of the model. If you already saw my Batman the Ride review, much of this video will be similar. I wanted to separate this portion out if people want the history without the specific details of Batman's ride experience. First, I need to give a history of the 4D coaster to explain how we got to the Free Spin. Aerodynamics introduced the fourth dimension, or 4D coaster with X at Six Flags Magic Mountain. This ride officially opened in early 2002. Using a rack and pinion system, the seats could rotate as the train navigated the layout. This was not a free rotation though. All the rotations and flips were predefined and mechanically controlled. While this coaster was innovative, it was extremely expensive, so much so that X bankrupted Aerodynamics. Aero originally wanted to build a much smaller version, but Six Flags was the one who pushed for X to be hypersized. Aero still agreed to fabricate it though, which is what led to their demise. S&S purchased Aero's assets and continued to offer the fourth dimension coaster. They actually upgraded X in 2008, transforming it into X2. This most notably included lighter trains. This reduced wear and improved the coaster's uptime. In addition to this, S&S would build two additional fourth dimension coasters from the ground up. One would be Ejinika Fuji-Q Highland in 2006. The other would be Dinoconda China Dinosaurs Park in 2012. These coasters have nearly identical layouts to X. They are just sized differently. While S&S still offers this model, none have been built since. The high price point is the primary factor. In the mid-2000s, Intamin developed an alternative. Realizing the flipping seats alone could yield a thrilling ride experience, they developed the Zack Spin. This was an ultra-compact layout. There were two key changes from the original 4D coasters. One, these technically weren't 4D coasters. They were more like 3D coasters because they only traveled a two-dimensional course. There was forwards-backwards motion, plus the vertical motion, but there was no horizontal motion. You change direction via Raven turns, which are 180-degree dives downwards. Then the third degree of motion was the flipping seats. 2. The flips were uncontrolled. It all came down to your weight distribution and the laws of physics. This was so no two rides would ever be identical. Intamin originally built 4 of these, but they were not well received. While unique and highly marketable, many found the flipping uncomfortable. The center of rotation was the center of the train, not around the riders themselves, which caused the flips to feel more forceful and subsequently violent. In addition, it was possible for a train to return to the station inverted. So the operators in Europe had to manually flip a train back into place every so often. However, this was not permitted in the United States by operators, so maintenance had to be called whenever this happened on Green Lantern at Six Flags Magic Mountain. As a result, these installations try to balance the weight to minimize flips, and Green Lantern went as far as to add additional weight to dampen rotation altogether, but this yielded an unnatural feeling and even more uncomfortable ride experience, which is why it was ultimately removed. The first installation went to Six Flags Fiesta Texas in 2015. This would be Batman the Ride. This coaster was very well received, and Six Flags added a dozen more to their parks over the next 5 years. These were all the 110 model, which is the largest free spin S&S has built to date. The wildest of the 110 models is Arashi at Nagashima Spa Land. This one flips far more than the others. Whereas the Six Flags ones typically offer 2 to 4 flips per ride, Arashi routinely offers a dozen flips because it uses more magnets. S&S also offers a slightly smaller free spin known as the 106 model. 2 of these have been built so far: Toombili at King's Dominion and Dragon Slayer at Adventureland. The latter is the only other installation that approaches the intensity of Arashi. This is another one that has a higher dependency on the magnets. There are two cons with the smaller layout. One, it has a few less elements. Two, and more notably, the raven turns are trimmed, which makes them far less extreme if you're not flipping on through them. Fortunately, you are likely to flip here. Some free spins are set up to offer equal experiences in each side. Others have some variability. This again comes down to the magnet placement. The best example of this is Dragon Slayer. One side is the milder side, and one is the wilder side. Now, even the milder side is usually more extreme than the Six Flags installations, but the wilder side is easily the best free spin in America. You flip frequently and quickly. There have been two key changes in the model's history. The first change is around the mechanism to lock and unlock the vehicle's rotation. Fiesta's Batman used a set of rails that would mechanically lower in the station and brake run. The later free spins use a continuous rail that is angled downwards. This is a far more elegant solution, as it requires no moving parts. The second change is around capacity, and this is not a positive. This has hit all the free spins, including the older ones. Originally, the larger models were programmed such that two trains could be loaded at once. They would then be dispatched in tandem. But the manufacturer implemented a change in recent years that only one vehicle can be loaded at once. This is half the capacity of many free spins. The time it takes for the employees to check the second train is minimal compared to the time it takes for guests to load and unload. This is significant because the trains are super short. Each train seats a max of 8 riders. There are 2 cars per train. Each car holds 2 guests on each side of the track. With the old programming, this ride would typically run 4 trains at once. Now, I have seen several installations just run 2 trains. Any more would almost guarantee stacking, so this is a sensible decision. It is worth noting the smaller models have only loaded 1 train from day 1. This decision was made before S&S implemented the change across the older free spins. I don't know the exact reason for this change, so if someone knows, I would love to hear why. My best guess is that it was related to safety if it was driven by the manufacturer and retroactively applied to the older versions. It is no surprise why this model is so popular. It is highly marketable, and it offers a radically different experience than the other coasters out there. I know these are not everyone's cup of tea, but I personally like the chaos. If you want more in-depth thoughts about the ride experiences, I have individual reviews already published for a few free spins. That is a brief history of the S&S Free Spin. What are your thoughts about this model? Are you a fan? Let me know down in the comments. If you enjoyed this informational video, I would appreciate it if you gave this video a like, and you consider subscribing, because there will be a lot more roller coaster and amusement park videos here at Canopy Coaster. Thanks for watching.